What you see right here is the all-new 2022 Genesis GV70 all-wheel drive 3.5T Sport Prestige. And in this video, I'm going to show you why it's so important and why many other manufacturers are shaking in their boots. So what is Genesis? This is a premier luxury brand from Hyundai. Of course, you know the Kia brand, the Hyundai brand, and now over the last several years, there's now a new separate brand called Genesis, and it embodies luxury and also sport performance for the company. And they packed this vehicle, this crossover, full of it. So let's take a look from the side and look under the hood and see what's what. So what you see right here is actually a smaller premium luxury crossover. It competes against the likes of the BMW X3, the Audi Q5, the Mercedes GLC, maybe even the Infiniti and Acura SUVs and crossovers. But it's basically a two-row SUV that's all-wheel drive, and it's got monstrous power under the hood. Well, let's check it out. So before I open the hood and actually show you the engine and also show you how it accelerates 0 to 60, here's the key, and it has a lot of cool features. So first of all, it recognizes me when I'm coming up to the door. Of course, keyless entry, the mirrors are unfolding, and then I can actually pop the hood and show you the engine. You can actually get a GV70 with two different engine options, but this is the top of the line offering. It's a 3.5 liter, like the name suggests, twin turbocharged V6, and it actually tells you this twin turbo. It's a little bit odd, but I love the way this looks under the hood. Actually, you've got your strut braces, you've got your piping. Looks really impressive when you first pop the hood, and it offers 375 horsepower. It's made it to an 8-speed automatic transmission with paddle shifters. So this is not rocket science. This engine is also used in their GV80 SUV and several other vehicles in their portfolio. So this engine is not all new. It's been around for a couple of years. And here's how it goes from 0 to 60. I'm in Sport Plus mode. Let me brake torque it a little. Let's go. So if you're brake torquing it kind of takes care of some of that turbocharger lag, and the time you can get is 6.4, which is actually very respectable for having two people in the car and also being a mile above sea level. Let me do one more run just by myself and see if I can improve that time just a little. Indeed, me just being by myself, 6.09, almost 6 seconds, and if you were at sea level, subtract almost a second off of that. So maybe between 5 to 5.5 second acceleration times. Actually, if I was considering to purchase the GV70 right here, I would get the V6, the higher power option. I think it just makes it more fun, more enjoyable. It's very important for a luxury brand to have its own identity, and I think Genesis is doing it with a very unique look. And of course, this grille is a big part of it. It's common across all of the vehicles that now exist in the Genesis portfolio, and they're going to take it into the future with slight different changes, but I think it's a unique design. It doesn't look like anything else. And to continue with that theme, the headlights and the taillights. So let's look at up front here. Two horizontal LED signatures, and of course the headlights. I think it separates the Genesis brand from many others, and they're also going to take this into the future, into their electrification strategy. But there's one weird thing. It's the way that the hood actually sits on top of this vehicle. There's a big crease here, and there's a little bit of a crease here. Genesis says this is part of their design, But from this perspective, it almost looks like the hood is still open. The GV80 is more of a sports SUV crossover, so there's a sloping roofline. And in the back, there's this swoosh. It's kind of a nice chrome signature. I think it makes the profile, of course, very unique. And this double horizontal LED signature continues in the rear, and it's a wraparound light. I really like this look and how sleek the rear hatch is, but this is a little bit odd to me. Check this out. There's a dual exhaust pipe thing. There's one here on the passenger side, there's another one on the driver's side, and I think it's really well integrated and it's functional, it's real, but it just looks ginormous, like you have rocket boosters coming out the back of this SUV. Usually I would say that's awesome, but I think it needs to be a little bit more understated on a luxury machine like this. But let's give it a listen. What Hyundai and Kia were always really good at is actually offering a lot of value and very advanced features for kind of an affordable price. And I think Genesis brand continues with that theme, because the GV70 starts at around 42 grand. I'll tell you about the price for this in a little while. All right, let's start the engine. Of course, there's a push button start. Feels really good too with the materials. There is also a fingerprint reader over here, and it does a couple of things. You can also start the vehicle this way, but also it will remember your profile, and every custom feature that you've defined will be remembered and the vehicle will be set up for you to use. As I said before, this is a luxurious and also sporty SUV. As such, I think this is the sporty part. This is a red seat belt. And of course, the luxurious part are the rest of the materials, and you can kind of see there's a special stitching, really nice touch surfaces. You can see it on the center console. Here is one design choice that I'm not in love with, because this is your transmission shifter, and it actually has quite a lot of resistance. So you have to mean to shift something, which is good, but it's the same size and almost the same location as my infotainment screen menu selector. So I like this, but maybe I would like to see this redesigned maybe as a push button start, or maybe a little joystick for changing gears. But it's kind of the same size in the same area. Not the best maybe design here. Coming up here, there's a volume, tune knobs, actually little wheels that feel really good and they feel metal, and also your drive mode selector. Because this is a top of the line prestige model, I have a really fancy gauge cluster. I'll show you that in a second. Here are my drive modes: Snow, Eco, Comfort, Sport, and Sport Plus. This was the mode I was using when I was doing 0 to 60s. And in Eco mode, well, yeah, it changes your throttle mapping and the rest and the gauges, but the gauges do another trick. Let me show you. On top here, you have this really wide landscape screen, and it's a little bit out of reach. I've got long arms, but still, I have to kind of lean forward. I can touch it though. It is a touch screen, incidentally. It doesn't appear to be, but it is. And then to show you the fancy gauge setup, I have to go under setup right here. And then I go under vehicle, under cluster. And then there's a 3D cluster depth, which actually sets up my gauges in a different way. Check it out. This is the standard view. When I go to 3D, I don't know if you can tell on camera, but it just changes the view, and it makes everything a little bit more three-dimensional. It kind of tricks your eye. Climate control settings are separated here in this kind of an oval shape. I think it's really well done. It is also a touch screen, and of course you can use these knobs for temperature, so it kind of gives you options. And this is also easy to understand. If you don't want to use this big knob for your infotainment system, you can also easily switch between different functions right here to navigation and radio and media. Of course, here on the steering wheel, Genesis is providing the latest technology right here, and it's actually pretty intuitive and easy to use. On this right side, you've got your lane keep assist feature, you've got your smart adaptive cruise control feature, the distance between you and the vehicle in front of you, of course the menu choices, and over here is your volume control and also your Bluetooth phone integration and mode control. So everything is pretty easy, including the paddle shifters, and the steering wheel feels really good. So before I show you another party trick on this car, let's look in the back seat really quick and the trunk. Let's take a look at the back seat. First of all the materials here are premium. You can see this leather and inserts and stitching and piping. And I'm gonna sit behind myself right here. And I'm over 6'2", so this front seat is almost all the way back, and my headrest is almost all the way raised here. My knees are touching a little bit, but I have plenty of headroom, as you can kind of tell. Even with this panoramic sunroof here, I feel pretty good. So if this seat was up another inch, I would feel just awesome in here, but right now my knees are touching just a touch. Actually, if you really did want to enjoy the back seat, the passenger side is really where it's at, because right now I'm sitting here really comfortably, and I also have controls. I can actually move the front seat forward if there's nobody sitting in front of me. I can just push this all the way forward myself, and I might even be able to cross my legs here in the back seat. So that's also available. If you're here and you are on an important business call, you also can just get the sunshade here, close the sunroof, and get some privacy as well. It's pretty nice. The rear passengers get their own vent system, their own temperature controls, heated seats in the back, and of course power, access to electricity here, up to about 150 watts. So is this thing all about performance and luxury? What about utility? Let's take a look. The tailgate lifts at a relatively good pace. Really good height clearance for me, and you can of course adjust that if you're in the garage. And here's our backpack for some gear. And actually under here there's a little bit of storage. Under here, very hidden, there's a little there's a spare tire. It's a donut. It's a more compact one. And here there's a lot of space. So actually, and you can also fold the seats here this way. So if you want utility, this thing offers it as well. The Genesis offers, of course, like I said, adaptive cruise control system, smart cruise control, but also the system where the cameras and the sensors are actually watching the surface of the road ahead of you and actually adjusting the suspension system accordingly, adapting to maybe rough terrain, or rough pavement, or potholes. It's a very cool feature that not many manufacturers offer. And over here, of course, you can see it's a heads-up display screen for extra information for the driver. Nice features. I love technology, and check it out. Of course, it has a three-dimensional camera view that you can control while moving in the parking lot. Sweet. Although for some reason my GV70 is white in this image, but I don't care. It's really cool in the real time. Driving the GV70, it's just nice and comfortable. A lot of visibility. The A-pillar is nice and skinny. I feel like I can actually drive in a very spirited fashion down a canyon road, or just relax and drive on a highway. By the way, the sound you're hearing is a lively forest, so you can go through different sounds of nature, including, of course, calm sea waves, etc., etc. The EPA fuel efficiency rating on this GV70 V6 is 19 city, 25 highway, and 21 combined. After quite a bit of daily driving and a lot of also city driving, I'm averaging 19.1 mpg, so it's on the lower side. So if you're looking for something more efficient, I mean, this engine is not it. It's a little bit more for power and performance. rather than efficiency, so that's not the strongest suit of this car. Here on the left of the driver, a couple of interesting things. First of all, traction control button is huge. It's bigger than in most vehicles. I kind of like that. So if you do want to do some a little bit more spirited driving, or you just want to turn it off, you can. And also there's a downhill brake control, kind of a hill descent control system. Although I wouldn't go off-road too much on this one on 21-inch wheels. When you get this top-of-the-line package, it also comes with 21-inch wheels, and these are Michelin Primacy Tour AS tires. Low profile, not too bad. Of course, this is an all-wheel drive machine, so you have bad weather capability and a little bit, slick surface capability. I'm not so sure about this design. I know that Genesis being quite bold and doing different things, and I commend them for that, but I don't know, it's not my bag with this type of design. And I like how Genesis does a theme throughout the whole vehicle. Even this mirror control here on the driver's side has this pattern that kind of similar to their grille design and some of the other trim design, and also these little grille design for the speaker. It all kind of ties together. And finally, the GV70 offers a party trick which is both cool and I think also very useful. So for example, if I lock the vehicle and start the engine, okay, that's nothing fancy. The engine is remote started, a big deal. But it has this little park summon feature. So if I hold down the front button or forward, it'll come to life and it'll pull forward all by itself. And this may just be, a party trick you show your friends and you giggle. But I was actually talking to a family member who actually purchased a Hyundai that has a similar feature, and he swears in his tight garage at his house, this is really cool because he can pull it out of the garage. You can also back it up, and instead of just banging doors inside the garage, he can just back the vehicle out, get into it nice and easy, and also drive away. So it's also a very useful feature. At the beginning of this video, I said other manufacturers should take notice and they're probably shaking in their boots. How come? Well, I hope I have explained it. It's because this GV70 packs the style, the comfort, and the luxury features and convenience features all for a reasonable price. It starts at about 42,000 bucks. This one with the Sport Prestige package, this fancy Mauna red color, and also the other convenience package with 16 speaker stereo is at 64,000 bucks. And it's relatively quick, although it's not super efficient. So $64,000 sounds like a lot of money, and it is. But if you look at competitors, especially the German competition like the X3, the Mercedes GLC, and of course the Audi Q5, if you want similar performance, similar power, similar equipment, you would be paying more. And as always, go back to TFLcar.com for news, views, and real-world car reviews.